the words of Benjamin Franklin, a penny saved is a penny earned. In 1733, Ben Franklin started publishing Poor Richard's Almanac. Franklin published his almanac under the guise of a man named Richard Saunders, a poor man who needed money to take care of his carping wife. Many of the famous phrases associated with Benjamin Franklin, such as a penny saved is a penny earned, come from Poor Richard. Most of you know Benjamin Franklin's association with electricity, but they may not know about his other accomplishments. I have been impressed with Benjamin Franklin for many years. Today I will discuss with you his background, his challenges he faced in his personal and career life, and his greatest achievements. Benjamin Franklin was born in Boston, January 17, 1706. He was the 10th son of a soap maker, Josiah Franklin. Benjamin's mother, Abiah Folger, was the second wife of Josiah. In all, Josiah would father 17 children. Josiah intended for Benjamin to enter the clergy. However, Josiah only had enough money to send Benjamin to school for 1 year, and clergymen needed years of schooling. But as young Benjamin loved to read, he had him apprentice his older brother, James, who was a printer. After helping James compose pamphlets and set type, which was grueling work, 12-year-old Benjamin would sell their product in the streets. Though his success is famous now, Ben faced many challenges in his life. Ben had disagreements with his brother during and after his apprenticeship. As a result of the fighting and jealousy, Ben ran away to Pennsylvania via a boat ride. He was wet and muddled when his future wife Deborah saw him that day in 1723. Though she thought him odd-looking, 7 years later, they would be married. Franklin found work as an apprentice printer in Philadelphia. He did so well that the governor of Pennsylvania promised to set Benjamin up in London if he would go there to buy fonts and printing equipment. Franklin did go to London, but the governor reneged on his agreement, and Benjamin was forced to spend several months in English doing print work. In 1729, Benjamin Franklin bought a newspaper, the Pennsylvania Gazette. His newspaper soon became the most successful in the colonies. The newspaper, among other firsts, was the first to publish a political cartoon, authored by Ben himself. Benjamin followed this success with many others. He was an enthusiastic inventor, to say the least. Benjamin Franklin's inventions are so monumental that we use them, or variations of them, every day. One of his most famous inventions included the bifocals. Bifocals are eyeglasses with an upper and lower half, the upper for distance and the lower for reading. Bifocals are commonly prescribed for people with presbyopia, a condition that Franklin suffered. Franklin wrote in August 1784 that he was, quote, happy in the invention of double spectacles, which serve for distant objects as well as near ones, makes my eyes as useful to me today as they were, end quote. Benjamin Franklin was the first to map the Gulf Stream. Franklin made 8 voyages across the Atlantic Ocean, or as it was known then, the Western Ocean, between the colonies and Europe. He wondered why journeys eastward were faster than their returning trip. His curiosity led him to be the first to map the Gulf Stream. Politics became more of an active interest for Franklin in the 1750s. In 1757, he went to England to represent Philadelphia in its fight with the descendants of the Penn family over who should represent the colony. He remained in England to 1775 as a colonial representative not only for Pennsylvania, but for Georgia, New Jersey, and Massachusetts. The episode of the kite, so firm and fixed in legend, turns out to be dim and mystifying in fact. Franklin himself never wrote the story of the most dramatic of his experiments. The kite being raised a considerable time elapsed before there was any appearance of it being electrified. A very promising cloud had passed over it without any effect. When at length, just as he was beginning to despair of his contrivance, he observed some of the loose threads on the hempen string to stand erect, and to avoid one another, just as if they had been suspended on a common conductor. Struck with the promising appearance, he immediately presented his knuckle to the key. You can imagine the excitement he felt. The discovery was complete. He perceived a very evident electric spark. Most arts of Benjamin Franklin holding the kite with key is not actually how it turned out. Benjamin Franklin was a writer, a scientist, and a visionary. There are several commodities that we could be very well without today if it were not for the hard work and ingenuity of Benjamin Franklin.